What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we are actually going to do our first viewer spectating video. We're going to be spectating HeirOfPontus. This guy was actually one of the first people to comment on one of my videos. So of course we got to bring it back around. This is going to be a one above all lobby. I believe this guy is on controller as well. Yeah, you can see the PlayStation and the Xbox logos over here. So this will be interesting to see kind of how the pacing is a little bit different from a lot of the one above all lobbies that I've watched on PC. To see if that's something that kind of shows up. And I cannot find him. There we go. And we are going to be looking at Loki here. Although with a name like HeirOfPontus, I'm surprised this guy isn't a name or one trick, you know? Any Greek mythology enjoyers in chat? Anyone? No? Either way, we'll see what's up. And this is a similar position to what I like to play as Loki, actually. Just playing high ground up here. Making sure to have this little hallway covered. Getting a ton of good splash damage on these people as they kind of come through that Doctor Strange portal. And his Doctor Strange actually makes a pretty good play there and actually ends up playing high ground, pushing people back down that staircase. Unfortunately, they do lose a little bit of this point action. And this magic is going to get up on him, but that was a beautiful, beautiful snap away from her. And his team just kind of isn't standing on point. They're losing a lot of value out of here just because they lose a couple ticks, almost 2 ticks, but they do get the ace out of that. He's able to stay alive and actually do a pretty good amount of damage too. Let's just check real quick. Yeah, I mean we're keeping up with the DPS with the tanks. The BP went kind of crazy there, but good way to stay alive. And now we're Loki clone cosplaying here, making sure we're standing still on high ground again. And we don't have to worry about that Doctor Strange portal as well. So going to be sitting in a pretty decent spot. This guy does... I've watched a couple other replays from this guy, and I think he does kind of play like an oh crap clone. Like one that's a little bit more of an defensive place, and then one that's a little more offensive. And he is going to steal Cloak and Dagger right here, and use his ult to counter the other Cloak and Dagger. So, going pretty good. Should be able to keep his team alive here. And his BP, Doctor Strange, and Squirrel Girl all get one. His BP gets another one. And his BP is definitely MVPing up here. Make sure to snap back up to high ground. And, yeah, solid fight. Solid fight. Me, personally, I like to spread the Cloak and Dagger ult out a little bit more just because I don't think that the healing stacks. So I think the more ground you can cover with that. But that's the only thing that I would have probably changed in that whole situation. And honestly, don't change anything. Don't fix what ain't broken. You know what I mean? You won the fight. It is what it is. And then I do like that we're playing up here and we're having a clone that's a little bit closer to the tank, making sure that we can get some good splash damage there. Maybe keeping that out of line of sight. Making sure that people just can't destroy it for fun. And they do lose their BP off the rip here, so they're probably going to be in a bit of a tough spot. But the Doctor Strange gets a nice one-shot on the Invisible Woman there. A good escape clone, making sure to keep this high ground again. And we're just pumping damage into the Venom. I think we maybe could have pumped a few more heals into the Doctor Strange there, but Cloak also ults a little bit late. Not to matter, not to worry, not to worry. I'm not sure if he saw the Doctor Strange there setting up for the ult, but that was good awareness if he did see that and is able to back up and not die to that. I think they are going to lose this point here. Doctor Strange just getting back to the point. I'm not going to be able to see him there too. And then we do see Darkchild and Invisible Woman all come out. So I don't think that they're going to be able to win this fight as they lose 2. Darkchild getting 2, 3, and Strange getting 1 more. So I think we just got to back up and go from here. 30 seconds on the clock. So they're not going to be resetting to a huge amount of time. Just about 3 minutes just staying in invis so we can just walk this out. And hopefully his team wraps around this other side here because I hate when people play this left-hand side over here and just get kind of zoned off of their own point, and it's real, real bad. And there we go. His team does wrap kind of correctly, or what I would describe as correctly. So, yeah, let's take ultimate high ground. Let's get up here. Hell yeah. Big fan. This is just such a goated spot on Loki. You can just sit here and just pump so much damage, so much splash damage in the enemy team. And this game does feel like it's moving a little bit in slow motion almost. You know, there's been a couple fights here and there, but the fights have even felt pretty slow. There's not one team that has gotten a super clean, immediate ace. And then, of course, using that confirm setting to make sure that we are going to steal the correct ult, using Cloak and Dagger, and again, just dropping that all over the point here. Unfortunately, not able to kill that magic. She did back up while she was fighting the Mr. Fantastic there, so she's not going to be getting a whole lot of that healing. And back to high ground we go. As we should. I do think one thing that I noticed on some of these replays was this guy just kind of uses his shift a little bit more liberally, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely like to try and save it for periods of higher healing or something like that. I think he can just use it for safety in this match, though. I don't think it matters a whole lot just because the enemy isn't doing a tremendous amount of damage to tanks, and they also don't have any ults like, you know, like Namor or, well, of course, I just said that and they switched to Namor, but they don't have any kind of like one-shot ults that could be prevented with that Loki shift. So using it to just survive, alleviate some of that pressure, I think is probably fine in this situation. And we're having some difficulty hitting this Doctor Strange here, but let's go back up to high ground. Phenomenal idea, love it. And getting some big cleave healing onto the enemies here. And then Cloak and Dagger should be ulting, so he can just kind of focus on damage here. Get some splash damage on the enemy. And then they also do commit Bucky ult. Able to quickly wipe the enemy team. Timer's at about 20 seconds, so we're sitting on 2 clones up on height. The enemy is nowhere near that second point. A little bit of poke damage as they walk up to the point here too. And he is about to have ult as well, so even if they are about to lose this fight, nice use of his left shift to keep people alive as he farms that ult up, that last few percent. And then Cloak and Dagger ult to make sure that his whole team stays alive here. Still trading Cloak and Dagger ults, and Magneto comes out. Nice fade to make sure he doesn't get one shot by that. And then a good snap up to high ground, making sure that he can keep himself safe. Ooh, luckily keeps that Cloak and Dagger alive. Doctor Strange, I think, antis himself there, but not punished for it at all. And then popping that offensive clone, using that left shift just to ensure the round end. So, pretty dominant round, honestly. I think his BP popped off. I think he was just kind of, you know, sitting there and able to do a lot of healing. Peep the scoreboard real quick. Yeah, he's doing a ton of healing. He's doing a ton of damage. Yeah, we take those. We take those. Now let's see what we can do on offense. We won't have to get too much distance on offense here. I've never seen a Doctor Strange portal while floating before. So that's a little bit weird. I don't think I've ever seen that. But the more you know. The enemy Doctor Strange tries to get the counter portal. My brain just couldn't comprehend what was going on there, but we got through. Don't worry about it. We are online. And just dropping, again, the offensive clones. Maybe popping the left shift a little bit too early there, but that is okay. They do lose their BP pretty early here, too. And I think they're going to actually lose this first fight, not able to get a whole lot of healing or pressure, as the tanks are line of sighted there. Maybe take the 1v1 with this Loki. Deciding that that's not really what he wants to do. Nice snap out, going invis, and I think he's just going to kind of reset behind enemy lines here and wait for his team to respawn. This Cloak and Dagger is going to get a pretty bad stagger here too, as well as the Doctor Strange. And I think here we're just kind of like sitting in the back line. I don't think we need to... we don't need to do anything here. I actually didn't know that you could place clones while you were invis and snap to them while you were invis, so that's actually a new one for me. So good knowledge of that Loki tech. That is kind of crazy. It does feel like, you know, even with this game being out for a couple months or, you know, however long it's been out, people are still kind of figuring out the things or learning stuff about characters that they didn't know before. So I think that's really cool that just happens in a game like this. And this is going to be a little bit of a spooky situation. They do end up trading Cloak and Dagger ults here, as they kind of have the entire game. I like the decision to just stay back, make sure that he's going to be a little bit safer. And then snapping in once that Mr. Fantastic dies, looking to get a Cloak and Dagger ult on point. And once again, trade with the Cloak and Dagger on the enemy team, or the Loki on the enemy team, as I should say. And it's just going to be a little bit of a stalemate on point here. But they are going to be up 1 after killing the Cloak and Dagger, and they were up a couple. Pretty scary Eye of Agamotto here. Looks like it gets blocked for the most part. Popping that left shift to make sure that his team is going to stay safe, even if they get CC by that. And they counter with their own Doctor Strange ult, taking a bunch of people low here. I think if this Strange lives, they'll be able to actually win this point. Some big, big healing going into that Doctor Strange there. And I don't know who that is. Is that Bucky? What am I looking at? Yeah, that Bucky was taking a ton of healing too. Gets a nice reset, and there we go. I think Bucky is just going to go absolutely feral here. And there we go, get the nice first point. Pretty long, drawn-out fight, actually, but still pretty well done. I like the decision to stay back and not commit too hard to the fight, just making sure that we stay alive, because as long as the healer stays alive and the tank stays alive, that fight goes significantly better than it otherwise would have. And I also didn't know that that was a Loki clone position up there. I knew this one, but the one behind him I actually have never seen before, so that's definitely good to know as well. And we should just be able to kind of usher in this point without too much difficulty here. Stealing Cloak and Dagger ult. I think we're just going to pop this offensively without too much threat from that Magneto. Magneto hasn't been doing a good job of one-shotting any of the Cloak and Daggers in the game too, so he's going to be kind of uncontested in this regard. Squirrel Girl picking up one. He picks up one as well. And Eye of Agamotto does come in. Unfortunately, not going to be able to... Oh my gosh, that Cloak and Dagger lived for so long. But his team is still able to get the ace thanks to this magic Doctor Strange, and he's just keeping everyone alive through it. And yeah, pretty dominant game. Definitely feels... the pacing feels very, very different on console compared to PC. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you think that it's a dramatic difference or if it's more subtle. Interested to hear your thoughts. If you guys want me to do more of these kind of viewer spectating videos, feel free to leave a replay ID in the comments section. I'm happy to spectate, do something like this. And yeah, well-deserved MVP 16-0. Does a good amount of damage, keeps up with everyone else on his team, does another 28,000 healing. So we're doing some big numbers. And yeah, I appreciate you for giving me this replay to look at. I'm happy to kind of keep this trend going if you guys like what we're doing. So like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.